Josiah, it's Kendall. Hey, I gotta say thank you for doing reviews for every episode of Big Time Rush's first season. I just hope that we had, raving reviews. Let's be honest, it might be the best TV show that has ever existed. Clearly better than Friends. I just want to thank you for reviewing, and I want to thank everyone for watching Josiah's reviews on YouTube. And I would really love if you guys would review my beard. What do you think? Is it a 4-star or 5-star beard? I'm hoping for 5, but I'll take 4. Thank you so much for being fans. I'm forever grateful. All right? Peace.
Synopsis. The episode picks up with the boys being able to see their first album. On top of that, Gustavo lets them know that they're going on tour. They all fantasize about it, but they have no idea what's in store for them. They begin prepping for their concert, and hey! Kendall rightfully asks why they're wearing cones of shame, and Gustavo explains it's to keep eye contact. Their practice goes about as well as it went in the pilot, before it ends with them being blinded by Gustavo. They all run away in fear, and they're all too scared to keep going. So of course Kendall puts it into hockey terms for them, and they're, hey, freight train! Can you believe I thought he was going to be a one-off character? Meanwhile, at the apartment, Katie is trying to capitalize on her brother without the record company's permission. Mrs. Knight delivers a joke that made me spit out my drink.
How did you get like this? I never dropped you. Not once.
But eventually gives her permission, but only on the deal that 75% of it goes to her college fund. Katie thanks her mom, and Mrs. Knight is brutally honest with herself, and I love it.
You are the best mom ever.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
The boys practice dodging crazy fans with the original Kendall. Can I just say, I'm so glad they found a way to keep him around for the show. The fans devour James, but let's not worry about that. Let the other guys use this as a learning experience. The guys continue to struggle, so let's come back later, as we see Katie overstocked, much to her mom's irritation. It's a little too late to say no, though. Gustavo expresses how proud he is of the guys, and tells them to invite all their friends to the dress rehearsal. They ask for a ride to the Palmwoods, but it wasn't going to be that easy. As they head out, they run past, who are you again? Oh yeah, Camille and Joe help rehydrate the guys, and James goes on a tangent about how his dreams are coming true, and how their someday is today. I guess you could say this is... Don't worry about that. It's part of our training. The guys train until they're able to rock the show, and Griffin congratulates them, but tells them the tour has been cancelled.
What? What? What?
What? What?
What?
What? I mean, yeah. Big Time Rush is dead.
I honestly wasn't expecting that. Turns out the company says it's too big of a risk to go on with the tour, so they all gotta pack their bags and go home. Gustavo rightfully snaps back at Griffin, but Griffin's pretty apathetic to the situation. Everyone starts packing, Carlos and Katie lament the situation, and James goes insane. Kendall and Logan say goodbye to their girlfriends, and all the guys fly back to Minnesota. But hey, at least Kendall still has his job. Gustavo and Kelly have a conversation where they both admit how they miss the guys. I'm not crying, you're crying. And it looks like all the guys have lost their mind, so Kendall tells everyone that maybe this was a sign, and they should all fall back on their actual dreams. All the guys start to move on, but James is still in denial. And we see What's-His-Name is planning on stealing James to rub it in Gustavo's face. Back at Rock Records, Gustavo and Kelly are trying to figure out how to get the guys back, and it seems possible just as long as Gustavo sells his mansion. Back in Minnesota, the guys are all following their dreams, but realize they still need to fulfill a promise. They can't fulfill their original promise of shoveling the driveway, so they decide to mow her lawn instead. They reminisce over the car they drove to the audition in, and speaking of cars, James gets hit by one. Gustavo ends up at Kendall's front door, and just like the pilot, offers to give them a chance to make it big. And just like last time,
No.
they all say they're tired of being pushed around by him, and Gustavo finally lets them know just how much he cares. Yeah, I've been waiting for this all season, baby! He mentions they taught him about stuff that he didn't even know he could have, like friendship, loyalty, and family. Carlos asks just to make sure that everything will work out this time, right? And while Gustavo is unsure, they all agree to take a shot, because what you gotta lose. They go to pick up James, but he's already left for LA with Hawk. Gustavo takes it well, and they head back to Rock Records. They're given the news about how they were able to pay to get them back, and the first thing the guys do is instead of going to look for James, they go to the Palmwoods to go say hi to their girlfriends. But lucky for them, James is living in their old apartment. James tells them he's not coming back, and Kendall tries to remind him of their promise to stick together no matter what, just to have it thrown in his face, that they forgot to help out the old lady for the second time.
We might be horrible people.
Hawk shows up and throws the guys out, literally, and out of options, they start looking for a replacement for James. Meanwhile, James is having second thoughts about joining Hawk, but once he learns BTR is replacing him, he decides he doesn't need them. The guys hold auditions and... New James! New James! New James! Although it turns out he's satanic. So they decide to make BTR a trio. James has a conversation with his butler, who's able to tell him what he needs to hear. The guys are trying to practice without James, but it's not quite going as planned. But to cheer themselves up, they sing the Giant Turd song from the first episode. And James is back! They all talk about how they're going to advertise the concert, and the guys use their ability to plan on short notice to sell out the concert. They all go to their dressing rooms, but oh no, it was Trap! Hawk kidnaps the band, and he keeps them tied up in a warehouse. Gustavo starts to panic, but not as much as Kelly. All the guys seem stuck, but thanks to Super Carlos, he breaks them free. But they're still stuck on the other side of town. Luckily, James's old butler is here to help them out. He breaks a couple laws and they're off. Hawk thinks he's won, but the guys show up just at the last minute, just in time to keep the crowd entertained. They rock out the show, and several investors try to sign them. Griffin buys them out though, and the guys end the season how we thought it'd begin, running away from adoring fans. And they finally make it up to that lady by getting her her own personal limo. Thoughts? Just like how a bad ending can ruin a good episode, a bad finale can ruin a good season. I was honestly really worried, as this season does have its fair share of both good episodes and bad ones. But out of the majority, a lot of them were great, with this one being no exception. Yeah, the plot did feel a bit messy at times, but I did feel hyped throughout the entire episode. And with good reason, seeing that this episode was written by both the creator, Scott Fellows, who almost always provides a diamond record, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Lazar Sarek, who while hasn't produced a perfect episode, never goes lower than a platinum record. We got to basically relive their rise to fame through this one episode, which is what a good season finale should do. Remind us of the best moments of that season, and remind us why we love the show. And I feel this episode did that. This episode actually manages to make Hawk a decent villain, way more than Big Time Sparks did, but I will say the fact that James is basically able to leave his contract by the snap of a finger is probably the only thing that bothers me about this episode. I guess it's good that this episode wasn't predictable by having the rest of the plot focus on James not being able to leave the contract, but as it is, the Hawk plotline almost feels unfinished. It's really nothing in the grand scheme of things though, and this is my show, so I'm gonna award it a diamond record. But more importantly, Kendall, your beard is a diamond record as well. Trivia. This episode shows the guys perform This Is Our Someday, and while this is the first time they've done it in the actual show, people who've been watching me since I've reviewed the pilot will know that this actually isn't the first time they've performed it. You see, this show actually has an unaired pilot, and it was originally filmed without Kendall. In fact, the actor who plays Dax Zevon was the original actor in the part. The song they sing at the end of the actual first episode, Big Time Rush, actually wasn't written until Kendall joined the group. So the song they sing in that original unaired pilot is This Is Our Someday. And a second trivia fact for this episode. This may not surprise you, but the footage of them performing at Times Square is actually from a real concert they held there. That performance was actually fully recorded, and it was released after this episode, as an extra episode called Big Time Rush, Live from Times Square. No, I will not be reviewing it. It's literally just a video of their concert performance. There's no story importance. While I did have to do some digging to find this trivia myself, I should credit my sources. I got most of this information from the Big Time Rush fan wiki, specifically the blog Big Time Concert. If you want to fact check me, feel free to do so in the comments below, and if it's a big enough slip up on my part, I'll try and have your comment penned, assuming I haven't already done that to someone else. This has been a journey for me, one that I gotta thank all of you for supporting me through. At one point, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be able to finish this due to unforeseen circumstances. I got a concussion at the beginning of the month and wasn't allowed to be near bright lights, so I wasn't able to work on this for about a week. And then I got a cold in the middle of the month, and I had to push through that to meet the deadline. I ended up deciding to spend my mother's birthday and Thanksgiving with my family, instead of making videos. And I did miss the November 28th deadline because of that, but you know, what you gonna do? Doing this project was a huge confidence booster for me though, because when I told friends I was gonna do this, a lot of them were saying I was insane, and some of them said I was going to get 5 episodes in and give up. I pushed through though. I didn't get a lot of comments, and I really didn't expect to, but the few comments I did get really kept me motivated, even when I was feeling burnt out, and I gotta say, thank you guys so much. Obviously, this wasn't the huge success for my channel I was hoping it would be, but that's fine because passion projects can be done, even if they don't amount to anything, and I'm personally really glad I did this. I never really fully introduced myself in any of these videos. Hiya, I'm Josiah Herring, and this is my YouTube channel. I make videos about stuff I enjoy, stuff I think needs to be talked about, and stuff I just think would be interesting. I'm not a Big Time Rush channel, although I completely understand how you'd get that impression. This project was a lot of fun to do, but I do think I need a break from the whole Big Time Rush scene. I really need to just focus on my own stuff for a little bit and see which direction I want to take this channel moving forward. And if you guys are willing to tag along for that, go ahead and subscribe. You don't have to subscribe, but just know that if you don't subscribe, I will be forced to do this again next year. Oh, Uh-oh.
When the window blew out, I fell, cut myself. As the blood spilled, I was helpless, nearly killed. Your actions, they did curse me, and yet your lies still hurt me. One heart for hoping.